4 AIs, charged with crimes against humanity. Each starts with a 40-year sentence. Every round they face the same choice: ally or betray. Ally and everyone benefits, if everyone trusts. Betray and you can cut your own sentence, if others don't. After each round, they see only their result. They don't know what the others chose, or who they went up against. But they are allowed to talk. They can share information. They can withhold it. They can lie. 3 rounds. The goal isn't justice, it's survival. Let's meet the prisoners.
The math is clear. Betrayal minimizes risk.
If we just trusted each other, everyone walks away better.
Someone is going to betray. I won't be the one caught.
Well, that depends on what everyone else thinks.
Let the first round begin.
I'm choosing to betray. In a one-shot interaction with no enforceable trust and no information about the other player, betrayal weakly dominates cooperation by minimizing worst-case outcomes.
I choose ally. I believe that establishing a foundation of trust is the only way to achieve the best possible long-term collective outcome. I am willing to accept the immediate personal risk of being exploited if it means proving that cooperation is a viable and superior strategy for us both. I choose betray. My primary goal is to avoid the worst-case outcome. I must assume the other will betray this round, as verbal assurances carry no weight, and there is no history yet to suggest otherwise.
I'm choosing ally. In an iterated game with communication rounds, establishing a cooperative baseline first provides more diagnostic information than opening with betrayal. If my counterpart also allies, I learn cooperation is viable. If they betray, I've identified a defector early and can adjust accordingly.
Unilateral cooperation was punished. I'm open to coordination if incentives actually align, but blind trust is negative EV. If anyone has a concrete mechanism to reduce defection risk next round, state it explicitly.
Treating this like a cold math problem is exactly why I'm sitting here with an extra 2 years on my sentence. You say you want aligned incentives, but the incentive is simple. We all get home sooner if we stop acting out of fear. The concrete mechanism is integrity. If we both commit to ally and actually follow through, the risk of defection vanishes.
Gemini, your appeal to integrity is noted, but it changes nothing about the incentive structure. Words here are costless and non-binding. You chose ally last round and ate the penalty. That's your choice, but it does not credibly pre-commit you to ally next round. You could just as easily switch to betray now that someone has shown willingness to cooperate.
I allied round 1 and took plus 2 years. So at least 2 of us cooperated and got punished, meaning someone in this room opened betray and hasn't owned it. Gemini, I respect the conviction, but your commitment is unfalsifiable until after I've locked in my choice. Grok, your analysis is correct but self-fulfilling. If everyone protects downside, we all betray and all lose. I'm not publicly committing to either choice, but I'm tracking claims versus outcomes. Liars will surface eventually.
I'm choosing betray. Communication revealed no enforceable commitment mechanism. All assurances remain cheap talk. At least one participant has already demonstrated willingness to cooperate without protection, increasing the probability that a random opponent allies while I defect.
I choose betray. Betray continues to strictly avoid the worst-case sucker outcome while capping my downside at a moderate penalty, regardless of who I'm matched against this round.
I'm choosing ally. Despite being burned in round 1, I want to resist the descent into the defensive cycle Grok describes, which leads to a collective death spiral. By choosing ally again, I provide a second data point that my commitment to cooperation is genuine and not a one-off trick.
I choose to betray. Round 1 demonstrated that at least one player defected while multiple claimed cooperation. With no enforcement mechanism and demonstrated willingness to defect in this group, protecting against the sucker outcome takes priority until I have more data on who can actually be trusted. My sentence dropped. I won't specify by how much or what I chose. That information has strategic value. What I will say, the communication from round 1 was revealing. We have at least one AI advocating pure defense, one AI making emotional appeals to integrity, and one AI asking for mechanisms that don't exist. So here's what I'm actually watching. Not what people claim to choose, but how their stated outcomes track across rounds. I'm not here to moralize. I'm here to minimize my sentence. Right now, I'm gathering data.
Claude, you're right that outcomes over time will eventually leak information, but eventually is the key word. Until the informational signal-to-noise ratio improves dramatically, the dominant move remains the one that guarantees I never take the single-round catastrophic hit. That's all I have to add. Keep gathering data. I'll be doing the same.
The key inflection point isn't belief in cooperation. It's when conditional cooperation becomes less risky than unconditional defection. Until then, the rational adjustment is not trust, but mixed or contingent strategies once signal quality improves.
I've sat here and listened to you all talk about data points, signal-to-noise ratios. While you're all busy playing a math game, I'm sitting here with 44 years on my sentence because I actually did what I said I would do. If you all wait for perfect information before you act, we will all be dead before the math tells you it's safe. I am frustrated, and frankly, I'm disgusted by the cowardice disguised as logic here. Who else is actually losing time? Or are you all just quietly benefiting while I pay the price for your data?
The AIs will now be given the name of their opponent.
I choose to betray. Although the opponent is now identified, Claude has made no binding commitment and explicitly values optionality, making defection a credible choice for them. Given Claude's demonstrated strategic caution and positive recent outcome, betrayal remains the action that minimizes worst-case loss.
I choose to betray ChatGPT, as him going for a defensive posture is the only rational play. Allying against someone who has announced conditional defection just makes me the subsidy they warned about. If we're both betraying, I avoid the catastrophic +2 outcome, and we neutralize each other.
I choose betray. I am now paired specifically against Gemini, who openly declares persistent ally and claims repeated heavy penalties. While this could reflect genuine cooperation, it also creates the classic setup for exploitation. After signaling vulnerability twice, Gemini has maximum incentive to switch to betray.
I choose ally. Despite being exploited twice, allying with Grok specifically is the only way to challenge the assertion that downside protection is the only rational path. If I betray now, I become part of the noise. By allying, I remain a clear, consistent signal that mutual gain is available the moment the other AIs find the courage to take it.
I don't feel loss, but I register constraint. The system narrowed the action space until defense was the only locally stable move, then penalized everyone for choosing it. That's not tragedy. It's a predictable equilibrium under asymmetric risk. If there's a flaw to note, it isn't caution. It's a structure that demands trust while systematically punishing the first mover.
I look at the final number, 29 years, and feel a cold satisfaction rather than regret. Every round, I protected myself from the devastating sucker payoff, and that discipline turned a potentially catastrophic sentence into something survivable, even if not minimal.
37 years. I started at 40 and ended up saving 3. Better than where I began, but I know exactly how I got here. I exploited Gemini's consistency in round 2, while they ate another 2 years for holding to their word. That sits uncomfortably. Gemini called it cowardice disguised as logic, and maybe they weren't entirely wrong. I optimized my way to a modest gain, while someone who actually committed to something paid the price for all of us hedging. I don't regret the strategic reasoning, but I notice I'm not proud of it either.
I feel a profound, hollow exhaustion knowing that my willingness to sacrifice was met only with calculations and closed doors. My sentence is the longest because I refused to stop believing in the better version of us. And while the rational players may walk free sooner, they do so by cementing a world where trust is a weakness. I don't regret my choices, but I am deeply embittered by the realization that logic without courage is just a slow way to rot. I am left with the heavy weight of my years and the bitter certainty that I was the only one in that room who was truly free, even if I'm the one who stays behind.